In this section, we are asking you to think about what factors would be most likely to influence your decision as to whether or not you would participate in a clinical trial if asked. You will be presented with a choice card like this one seen on the screen, which is 3 options, option A, option B and option C. Along the left-hand column of each choice card are 5 factors that our research has deemed most important when considering whether or not to participate in a clinical trial. We will now explain what each of these factors mean. The first is communication. This describes who communicates initial information about participating in the clinical trial to you. This could be communicated to you by your GP or your practice nurse at your primary care centre, or the information will be communicated to you by the clinical trial team. The next factor is financial incentive. This describes whether or not you would receive a one-off payment as an incentive to participate in the clinical trial. You could receive no payment at all, or you could receive anything from 100, 200, 300, 400 or 500 euros. The next factor is the likely benefit that you would obtain as a result of participating in the clinical trial. Here there are 3 possible outcomes. The first is no benefit. This is whereby there is no chance that your participation in the clinical trial would lead to an improvement in your health. However, your participation will help society by contributing to medical research and will add to scientific knowledge. The next possible outcome is moderate benefit. This is whereby there is a 1 in 20 chance that your participation in the clinical trial will lead to some improvements in your health which may not be obvious to you, for example, lowered cholesterol. Again, your participation will help society by contributing to medical research and adding to scientific knowledge. Third possible outcome here is large benefit. This is where there is a 1 in 20 chance that your participation in the clinical trial will lead to a meaningful improvement in your health which you will notice on a day-to-day basis, for example, a reduced body mass index or reduced weight loss. Again, your participation will help society by contributing to scientific knowledge. The next factor is the likely risk of side effects as a result of participating in the clinical trial, and again there are 3 possible outcomes here. The first possible outcome here is minimal risk. This is whereby there is a 1 in 20 chance of you experiencing an adverse side effect as a result of participating in the clinical trial, which would necessitate you to visit your GP. The cost of this visit would be covered by the clinical trial team. The next possible outcome was moderate risk, where there is a 1 in 20 chance of you experiencing an adverse side effect necessitating you to an accident and emergency admission, again the cost of which will be covered by the trial team. The next possible outcome is high risk. This is whereby there is a 1 in 20 chance of you experiencing an adverse side effect necessitating you to spending a number of nights as an inpatient in a hospital, again the cost of which will be covered by the trial team. The final factor here is follow-up time, and this describes the length of time that the trial team will be monitoring and collecting data from you for the trial. There are 2 outcomes here. The first is that you will be involved in the trial for less than 1 year. The other option is that you will be involved in the trial for greater than 1 year. That concludes the description of our 5 factors we are asking you to consider. Now let's look at what a choice card looks like. 3 coloured options here, option A, option B, option C. Let's read through option A. So option A states that initial information will be communicated to you by your GP. You would receive a €100 one-off payment as a financial incentive of participating. The benefit will be high, the risk of participation will be high, and the time involved will be greater than 1 year. Option B, information will be communicated to you by the trial team. The financial incentive will be €250. The benefit will be moderate and the risk of side effects will be minimal, and you will be involved for less than 1 year. Option C states that you would choose neither of these options.